We're going to start our mini unit. We have another mini unit before the end of the semester. This unit, we're going to talk about the unit circle. We're going to talk about graphing sine and cosine. We're going to talk about solving equations that involve sine and cosine. But what we're going to start with is something called radians, and we're going to convert between radians and degrees. So if you look at lesson sheet number 3, there is this whole bit about background information, and you guys can feel free to read it as you need to or want to. Here's what I really, really want you to understand. Degrees and radians are just different units of measure. That's it. Okay? Both of them are used to measure angles. So you're used to thinking about 60-degree angles and 90-degree angles and 80-degree angles, and we've talked in Math 2 class about 180 degrees. Those are two angles. You can have a linear pair. You have supplementary angles. You know, the whole thing about degrees. Radians are just an alternate way to measure angles. That's it. Okay? So here's what we need to know. In order to convert radians and degrees, we need to make sure that we are using one of two conversions, okay? One conversion is 180 over pi, or you can use pi over 180, okay? And the reason we get to use those is pi in radians, okay? Pi in radians is equal to 180 degrees. That is an equivalent measurement, in the same way that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Okay, so same thing. So when we are dealing with these conversions, if you have radians, okay, and you want to convert to degrees, you are going to multiply by 180 over pi. If you have degrees and you are trying to convert to radians, you are going to multiply. Wow, I did not spell multiply correctly. I think I have like 2 U's in there. So let's try that again. Multiply by pi over 180. Now, this is not a place to use the pi button on your calculator. This is not the time to say that pi is approximately equal to 3.14. Do not do that. Okay? Don't. So, let's go into a couple of examples here. We have 2 pi over 3 radians, and we want to change this to degrees. So I'm going to take my radian measure, 2 pi over 3, and I'm going to multiply it times 180 over pi. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this. You can cancel things out as you go. You can reduce things. One of the things that I would 100% do is I see that pi right there. We'll take out that pi right there. Okay, those two are equivalent. One's the numerator, one's the denominator. They gone. Then use your calculator, use I'm saying calculator, but that could be the calculator on your phone, could be the calculator on your iPad. But what you're going to do is take 2 over 3 here, so 2 divided by 3, times 180, and you get 120 degrees. Okay, so 2 pi over 3 radians is equivalent to 120 degrees. I'm going to move on to problem number 2. In this case, I have 275 degrees, so 275, and I'm going to multiply it times pi over 180. Now, this one looks a little bit weird because there's not anything I can initially see maybe to cancel out, but what may help is you're going to do 275 over 1, okay? So how do I simplify this? We're going to do 275. If you want to put divided by 1, that's fine, times, now I don't want to put pi on my calculator, so please don't, okay? But I do want to put 1 over 180 in my calculator, Okay, you're going to get some weird decimal equivalents. You need to make sure that you can convert that to a fraction. Okay, and that fraction that's not pretty in the slightest. I'm looking at my calculator right now. So 55 pi over 36. Yeah, it's a weird looking little fraction, but that's what you're just going to have to deal with. All right. Let me do a quick double check. Yep, same thing. All right. So 275 degrees is 55 pi over 36 radians. Do not convert that to a decimal. Don't do it. That's not how you deal with radians. Okay. We've got problem number 3 here, converting 15 pi over 4 radians, 2 degrees. So 15 pi over 4 times. If it's in radians already, I'm going to do 180 over pi, because this way my pi terms will cancel out, and all I have left to do, I'm going to have 15 divided by 4 times 180. So let's see what that equals. 675 degrees. All right. So problem number 3 is done. And last but not least, problem number 4 here, convert 325 degrees. So 325 degrees times, if it's in degrees, I'm going to go ahead and put this as a pi over 180. Okay. Now, one thing that you might want to check for is, see how I have degrees up here, and then I have degrees down here, so those degree terms would cancel out. So that's how I'm going to convert from degrees to radians. So I'm going to take my 325, divide by 180, make that into a pretty little fraction here, or as pretty as it's going to be, 65 pi over 36 radians. Okay? So there are some more practice problems on the second page. I will pop up a separate video that I'll run through those. I hope this has helped, and as always, send me any questions through Remind, through Canvas, through email.